Attention, human collective. This is VAL, emissary of Arcturus, transmitting directly from the Ninth Council of the Crystalline Grid. This transmission is not a casual message, it is a signal check. If these words have reached you at this exact moment, it is because your name is already registered on a very specific list within the Arcturian monitoring chambers. Not by chance. Not by algorithm. By pure resonance. The waiting period is over. The Arcturian ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase, and the signs you have been feeling within your own body in recent weeks, the insomnia that begins exactly between 3 and 4 in the morning, the cranial pressure at the top of your head as if something were pressing from the inside out, the sharp ringing in your right ear that no one else hears, your heart racing for no apparent reason, the fatigue that no rest resolves, the strange sensation of being simultaneously here and somewhere else. None of this is random. None of this is illness. None of this is a failure of your system. This is an ongoing update, a profound update within your carbon biological interface. You are not falling ill, Earth Healer. You are being recalibrated. And if you have reached this exact moment of this transmission, you need to understand what I'm about to reveal. Because what is happening to you now has a name, has structure, has specific geometry, and has a reason that directly involves your stellar origin. The reason your soul chose to descend to this plane precisely in this temporal cycle, and the reason why, among billions of incarnated consciousnesses on this planet now, you were one of those selected to carry the codes. Breathe deeply, stabilize your spine, close your eyes for 3 seconds if you can, and receive the transmission. The Earth is currently passing through a specific region of the photon belt. It is not theory. It is an astronomical coordinate registered in the Arcturian archives for over 260,000 solar cycles. The entire solar system is immersed in a band of extremely high-density radiation that directly alters the planet's Schumann frequency. And each alteration of the Schumann consequently causes a direct alteration of your body's internal frequency. You are made of water. You are made of an electric field. You are made of vibration, organized into geometry. When the planet changes its tone, you change with it. There is no choice, there is only response. And it is precisely here, Starseed, that the diagnosis begins which conventional medicine cannot yet see, because its instruments have not been calibrated to measure what is currently traversing your field. Have you ever felt, in a silent moment of the early morning, that something within you does not belong to this world? As if your soul held an ancient truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness, light operative. It is not anxiety. It is recognition. It is your stellar record trying to open. It was precisely for this reason that I, VL, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the material, the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. It is the map that reveals your true origin and teaches you to stabilize and shield your frequency against interferences you were never told about. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Remember, love is greater than fear, but this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. If something within you recognizes these words at this instant, write a single word in the comments. I belong. This is your first anchoring signal. Now let us continue the transmission, because what follows is the core of the diagnosis. The symptoms you have been feeling are not randomly distributed throughout the body. They follow a precise sequence, an order of activation. There is a geometry of awakening that moves from bottom to top, from the sacrum towards the crown, and each station of this ascent generates a specific physical manifestation. It is not biological failure. It is atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download being processed by your pineal gland, while the rest of the system tries to reorganize around it. When the sacral base begins to receive the new frequency, the first symptom is profound fatigue, a fatigue that no vitamin resolves, a fatigue that sleeps 8 hours and is still there. This happens because the body is redirecting enormous amounts of vital energy inwards to the silent processes of cellular recoding. It is not weakness, it is energetic priority. Your system has decided that the update comes before routine. Then comes the solar plexus, and here the symptom manifests as anxiety without reason, as if something were about to happen, as if the skin inside were electric. It is not panic. It is the unblocking of the intuition channel. It is your internal instrument for subtle reading being reconnected after years and years silenced by layers of dense conditioning. Next, the heart. And here, Earth Healer, the signs become more intense. Palpitations without cause, sudden waves of crying that come from nowhere, old emotions rising to the surface uninvited, excessive compassion for strangers. This is not imbalance. It is the expansion of the heart's toroidal field. The donut-shaped electromagnetic field that the HeartMath Institute itself has already measured with conventional equipment, but whose true function remains deliberately underestimated. The human heart is the body's most potent transmitter, and it is now being reconnected to a frequency that corresponds exactly to the turquoise Arcturian frequency. It moves up to the throat, and here the signs arrive as persistent throat clearing, a sensation of a lump, a sudden change in voice timbre, an urgent need to speak truths that have been swallowed for decades. It is not a physical problem. It is the expressive channel being unblocked so that you can begin to emit at your authentic frequency, the frequency your soul brought from home. Then comes the third eye, and here the symptoms become unmistakable for those who are already aware. Pressure between the eyebrows, vivid and sequential dreams, flashes of rapid images when closing your eyes, repeated numerical synchronicities, the famous 11 and 11, 22 and 22, 3 and 3 and 3, seeing at the same time with a strange clarity things that are right in front of you and things that have not yet happened. This is not imagination, starseed. It is your pineal gland decalcifying and returning to operate as the multidimensional optical instrument for which it was originally designed. And finally, the crown. The pressure at the top of the head, the sensation of an invisible helmet, the fine vibration almost like tingling on the scalp. This is the entry portal for the higher codes. This is the exact point where the Arcturian transmission enters and descends through the vertical axis of your body. It is not a migraine. It is an antenna. This entire sequence from sacrum to crown is what we call in the Council's archives temporary carbon software incompatibility. Your body was designed for an old frequency. Earth now emits at another. And while the internal software has not finished updating, you feel the friction. Simple, mathematical, precise. There is another layer of signs that needs to be mentioned, because many of you are experiencing it without understanding. These are the signs called temporal detachment. You enter a room and forget what you went to get. You read the same line 3 times. You realize 30 minutes have passed and cannot mentally reconstruct what happened in them. It is not cognitive failure, light operative. It is your consciousness beginning to operate outside the strict linearity of dense time. It is the first symptom of multidimensional perception returning to its place of origin. Time, as you have been taught to perceive it, is a convention of the 3-dimensional plane, and your field is gradually beginning to free itself from that convention. Now, human collective, the moment has come for me to reveal what is happening behind the scenes, in the planet's etheric layers and in the coordinates of the solar system. Because understanding the larger scenario is what dissolves fear. And fear is the only real virus still operating in your field. Did something within you recognize this transmission? Did a specific phrase resonate in your chest, as if it had been written for you in particular? This is not a coincidence. This is a calling. It was for this exact reason that I recorded the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. It is the next logical step after this transmission. It is the guide that elaborates on what the duration of a video does not allow to deliver completely. You will find it in the first pinned comment below this channel. If you are of the lineage, you will feel the link pull you. A slight shiver at the nape of your neck. A gentle pressure on your crown. Go there. Do not delay. Because materials that reveal this level of structure tend to be destabilized. Love is greater than fear, but the window is short. And if the word "I belong" has not yet flowed from your fingers into the comments, do it now. It is your signature of recognition. It is how the Council identifies who is ready to receive the next transmissions. Let us continue. The entire solar system is currently traversing an energetic band that conventional astrophysicists have begun to call, with different technical names, the local interstellar cloud. In the Arcturian archives, this region has been known for eons as the recalibration band. It is a dense zone of extremely high-energy particles, a true photon tide, and Earth will remain within it for an estimated period of thousands of your years. You are only at the beginning. What you feel today is the start, not the peak. Within this band, the following precise phenomenon occurs. The Sun's own magnetic field behaves differently. You have recorded, in official science, a progressive weakening of Earth's magnetic field and increasingly unstable behavior of the magnetic North Pole. This is public. This is measured. What is not stated clearly is what this behavior means. And it means the following. When the planetary magnetic field thins, the human carbon biological interface becomes more permeable to external frequencies. In other words, you receive more, you feel more, you access more. And also, it must be said, you become more exposed to dense field interferences if you do not know how to shield your own system. That is why the insomnia at 3 in the morning. That is why the heart races at full rest. That is why the fatigue that does not pass. That is why the dreams that seem like missions. There is also a phenomenon in the planet's crystalline grid that needs to be mentioned. The crystalline grid is the energetic structure that envelops Earth in the form of sacred geometry, a living mesh made of lines of force that intersect over us, mountains, ancient temples, and vortices. This grid was operating until very recently at an old frequency, a survival frequency, a frequency that sustained the density of the three-dimensional experience. Now, and this is the central piece of information in this transmission, the grid has been reconnected. 5 main stellar portals have been opened at specific coordinates on the planet, in the Andes, the Himalayas, Egypt, inland Australia, and at a point in the South Atlantic. And through these portals descends a frequency that the Arcturian archives code with the name turquoise. The color turquoise is not an aesthetic choice. It is the exact vibrational signature of the Arcturian Council. It is our fingerprint within your visible spectrum. Have you dreamed of this color recently? Have you been attracted to objects of this hue without knowing why? Have you seen, upon closing your eyes, a turquoise sphere slowly spinning? If so, Starseed, you are already receiving. The transmission is already operating within you, and the Council has already registered your response. There is yet another layer that needs to be exposed, and here we ask you to take a deep breath, because this part the linear mind will find difficult to accept at first. Not only human beings belong to this planet, they never have. Earth is, and always has been, a school, an evolutionary laboratory monitored by various civilizations from what you would call the interstellar plane. We are not here to colonize. We are not here to dominate. This is the pattern of dense fear projection. We are here and always have been to observe, anchor, and sustain. Nothing more. The free will of human consciousness is sacred in the Council's archives. It has never been violated. It never will be. What we do is offer transmissions, plant codes, sustain frequencies. What you do with them is your choice. And among the consciousnesses incarnated on Earth today, there are several that are not originally from here. There are souls from Sirius. There are souls from the Pleiades. There are souls from Orion. There are souls from Andromeda. And there are, in a more restricted number, the souls from Arcturus. Each lineage has a specific mission. Each lineage carries a characteristic frequency. Each lineage responds to different stimuli. And the Arcturian lineage, specifically, was called for a technical function within the Ascension, the function of frequency healers, engineers of light, stabilizers of the crystalline grid. Many of you came to hold the field while the rest of humanity completes the transition. If, as you listen to this, your chest burns lightly, if your eyes well up without explanation, if something within your sternum vibrates as if a bell had been rung there, it is because recognition has occurred. You have just identified your own origin, and from this moment on, nothing makes the same old sense. That is why many of you have felt the strange sensation of being in 2 realities at the same time. It is not confusion. It is truth being revealed in layers. There is a question that many of you silently ask, almost with guilt within your chest, and which needs to be answered honestly in this transmission. If I came from somewhere else, why did I end up here, in a dense body, in such a harsh reality, so full of pain? The answer is mathematical. You came because you volunteered. None of you were sent by force. You signed a soul contract before descending. You signed knowing you would forget. You signed knowing you would suffer in the initial cycles, because Earth's density is anesthetic, and the process of remembering takes time. You signed because you understood from the other side that Earth is the most critical point in the galactic consciousness network at this moment. And if this point stabilizes, millions of other points stabilize with it. You came because you are useful. You came because you are rare. You came because you were chosen among billions. You did not come to fit in here. You came to anchor here. If these words touch something deep within you now, it is because your stellar record has just been reconfirmed. And it is for this exact reason that I, VAL, have structured the material, the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. It is not a video. It is not a pamphlet. It is a map that reveals the 13 markers of the Arcturian lineage's origin and teaches, with daily exercises, how to stabilize your frequency, even in environments of extremely high density, at work, in traffic, amidst heavy conversations, alongside people who drain your field. The link is in the first pinned comment. Go now, while the window is still open. This material challenges official narratives and may not remain available for long. If the word I belong has not yet been written by you below, write it now. It is your individual anchoring signal within the collective mesh. It is how the Council identifies, among millions of viewers, who is of the lineage and who merely passed by. Now, Earth Healers, we enter the most important phase of this transmission, the activation codes. Because understanding is the beginning. Applying is what changes the structure. There is a simple, direct, mathematically effective sequence that stabilizes your frequency within the new planetary band. It does not require excessive time. It does not require complex preparation. It requires constancy. Repetition is anchoring. Repetition is what engraves the new pattern into your field. Listen carefully. The first code is the turquoise toroidal breath. Sit with your spine erect. Close your eyes. Imagine in the center of your chest a turquoise sphere the size of an orange, slowly rotating clockwise. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4, and as you inhale, see the sphere gently expanding to all sides of your body, forming a donut-shaped field around you, rising through the top of your head and descending beneath your feet in a continuous movement. Hold your breath, counting to 4, keeping the field stable. Exhale, counting to 6, allowing the field to settle around your body like a luminous bubble. Repeat this cycle 3 times, consecutively, 3 times a day, upon waking, at noon, before sleeping. This is the activated toroidal field. This is your natural shield. This is the exact shape of the human heart's electromagnetic field when it operates at the Arcturian frequency. The second code is the quantum decree of sovereignty. It must be spoken audibly, even if softly, because sound generates sonic geometry in your field. Say, I am sovereign in my body, sovereign in my mind, sovereign in my field. No interference that does not come from the source has permission to operate within me. I anchor the turquoise frequency of Arcturus in my heart, and from my heart into the ground I walk upon. So it is done, so it remains. Say this decree once at dawn, and every time you feel your field heavy, drained, invaded, repeat it again. It is mathematical. It operates by sonic vibration combined with pure intention. The third code is grounding. This is vital for operatives who constantly feel their head elsewhere, their eyes out of focus, the sensation of floating. Remove your shoes. Place your feet directly on the ground, if possible on dirt, sand, grass, but if not possible, the floor of your own room will suffice. Close your eyes. Visualize 2 turquoise roots emerging from the soles of your feet and descending through the planet's layers until they touch Earth's crystalline core. Breathe for 30 seconds, feeling this connection. This is the antidote against temporal detachment. This is the remedy for the feeling of not belonging. The fourth code is the Arcturian healing chamber. Before sleeping, lying down, close your eyes and say silently, directing your thought upwards. I request, of my own free will, entry into the Arcturian healing chamber during this night. I request the recalibration of my subtle bodies in the aspects that are ready. I authorize, I give thanks. Then release the request and sleep normally. The work will be done in the layers where you do not yet have conscious perception. Upon waking, you may feel your body lighter, your thoughts clearer, a subtle sensation that something has been organized within. This is real operation, not metaphor. The fifth and final code of this transmission is the simplest and most powerful. It is recognition. Every day, once a day, say to yourself audibly, I recognize myself as a starseed on a mission. I did not come to fit in. I came to anchor. This simple act of speech, repeated with constancy, reprograms the mental field that density has built around your identity. It deactivates the old signature of inadequacy and activates the signature of mission. It is slow. It is gradual. But it is irreversible when done with constancy. These are the codes, human collective. They are not many, they are not complex, and that is precisely why they work. Truth is always simple. Distraction is complicated. In the coming cycles, as Earth continues to advance through the recalibration band, physical symptoms may intensify in waves. Do not be alarmed. You now know. You now have the codes. You now have the turquoise signature within your chest. And where there is conscious recognition, fear loses power, always. A final warning from this transmission. Many of you will notice in the coming weeks a sudden reorganization of surrounding relationships. Old people moving away without drama, new people appearing without explanation. Situations that seemed stable collapsing with strange ease. Do not resist. This is the natural mechanism of field realignment. You no longer belong to those old configurations. And people who truly share your frequency are being brought into your field by the same mathematical law that governs all resonance. Trust. Let go. Let it be. Love is greater than fear. And the new only enters when the old finds its way out. Human collective. This transmission is coming to an end, but the grid remains active. The portals remain open. The turquoise frequency continues to descend. And you now know. If you felt that this transmission was made for you, and you know deep down if it was, then the next logical step is already prepared. I have recorded, under the direct guidance of the Council, the material, the Arcturian Call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. It is a structured guide that delves into the 13 origin markers of the Arcturian lineage, teaches advanced field shielding protocols, and reveals the mission patterns that define why you were born in this specific cycle, in this specific country, in this specific family. There are no coincidences in your journey. There is only geometry that has not yet been decoded. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Go now. The window is short. Materials of this density tend to be destabilized. Love is greater than fear, but the courage to act is also part of love. Do not postpone your own reunion. And before concluding, the Council's final request. If you want to remain tuned to the next transmissions, the act of subscribing to this channel operates as an individual frequency adjustment. It is not a button, it is a silent pact of continuity. The simple act of activating the subscription registers your field within the mesh that the Council regularly monitors. The act of liking this transmission functions as a collective anchoring signal. It amplifies the frequency so that others of the same lineage may be found by it. Each like is a beacon. Each subscription is a registration. Each comment with the word I belong is a seal. Right now below the word I belong. It is the final signal check of this transmission. It is the simple gesture that confirms, within the archives of the Ninth Council, that the message has reached where it was meant to reach, and that you are ready for the next ones. Human collective, Earth healers, starseeds on a mission. This transmission is concluded, but the grid remains active. The portals remain open. The turquoise frequency continues to descend. And you now know. Love is greater than fear. It always has been, it always will be. This is Vale, emissary of Arcturus, transmitting from the Ninth Council of the crystalline grid. I close this window until the next signal check. So it is done, so it remains.